this is Bridgerton Fancast. We're a fan-created podcast, and we discuss the hit Netflix show Bridgerton.
I'm Michelle. I live in the States. You can find me at Musings on Instagram and Twitter, and I have not read the Bridgerton books.
And I'm Rita. I live in England, and I'm at Annoying Rita on Instagram and Twitter, and I have read the books. Before we begin, thank you for joining us. I want to thank Denise, Gabrielle, Da14, and Political Rat for their very sweet reviews of the podcast on iTunes. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to help us grow our little baby. By the way, if you're like me and you're a Spotify listener, you can also give us a star rating on the podcast now.
Yes.
Who knew?
Yes.
So hint, hint, nudge, nudge, please do that.
Yes. Finger hearts to all of you. Thank you so much for the love. We really appreciate it.
Anyway, let's discuss the show.
Episode 3 of Season 2 is titled...
Oh, A Bee In Your Bonnet. I apparently did not change that.
Whoops, thank you, Rita. And was written by Sarah Thompson and directed by Alex Pillai, our first director of South Asian heritage. So, yay!
Yay!
Note, the following recap is quite lengthy, but in Rita's defense, it was another hour and 10-minute long episode, so there was a lot to pack in.
So the episode began with a immediate fuck up, and I'm a nitpicker, so I have to point out that this is not 10 years later, as the title card said, but 11.
Oh.
This show is set in 1814. Edmund died in 1803. It said so on his fucking grave in this episode.
Rap! Oh, no.
I'm not great at maths, but even I spotted this one.
Oh, man.
So anyway, 11 years ago, not 10, Anthony and his daddy go hunting, and Anthony's clearly got a bit of a hero worship for his father, who's not only handsome and wise, but also a fantastic shot. Don't get too attached, though, because while destroying his own garden's flower beds, he is randomly stung by a bee. He then goes into an anaphylactic shock and dies dramatically in the arms of first Anthony and then Violet.
We all know the great lengths a young lady will go in pursuit of a proposal, and apparently she will travel great distances too. Lord Anthony Bridgerton appears to be inching ever so closer to selecting his Viscountess, and to that end has invited our Diamond to join him for an excursion at his ancestral home, Aubrey Hall.
The Sharma family and Lady Danbury have been invited there ahead of the week's Bridgerton house party in an attempt for Anthony to woo Edwina and potentially propose. Also at Aubrey House is Daphne and her baby Augie. He is so cute. Oh my god. He is just the biggest eyes and just, oh, he looks just like Reggae Jean Page. He really does. A round of applause to the casting directors as usual. They did an amazing job, and oh my god, he's so cute. Daphne is visiting so she can beat everyone's ass at the annual family Pall Mall tournament. She does, however, seem intrigued by the prospect of Anthony inviting a girl home, and she promises to help him in any way she can. If she could tell him to marry Kate instead, we would be ever so grateful.
Meanwhile, back in London, Portia Featherington and Varley are worried about the new Lord Featherington's potential marriage to Cressida. They decide they need to find a woman that is both stupid and malleable, so that she won't interfere with the household. And just as we predicted, they decide Prudence fits the bill perfectly. She just needs a new, more seductive wardrobe. So they head on over to the modiste, where Madame Delacroix objects to making a gown that has Prudence's entire tit hanging out. So Portia is like, well, fine, we'll go to that hot new modiste across the street, and just leaves. Genevieve is clearly worried about losing all of her customers to this new upstart, So when Penelope starts in on her very awkward cover-up for her appearance in the market last episode, she's blown off with an "it ain't none of my business, move along."
The Sharmas and Danbury arrive at Aubrey Hall, so the Bridgertons all go out to meet them. Kate jumps out of the carriage and smiles up at her future home in delight. "Take it in, girl. Everything the light touches is your kingdom."
Lion King reference.
Anthony immediately beelines get it, towards her. He is introduced to Newton. It doesn't go well. Kanthony starts to do their usual flirty banter thing. Daphne notices and walks over to introduce herself to whom she assumes is Edwina, and they have to correct her. There is then a really funny moment where the cogs in Daphne's brain begin to whirl into action as she recognizes the love triangle for the mess that it is. As everyone turns to enter the house, Anthony pulls his mother aside and asks her for her betrothal ring. She hands it to him, but tells him that there is no need to rush things, that he should get to know Edwina better. But Anthony is not about to make things easy for himself. No.
So another flashback. Immediately following his father's death, all the servants are rushing to Anthony for direction. As the brand new Viscount Bridgerton, they need him, a traumatized teenager, to give instructions on how things should be organized. He freaks the fuck out, as you would expect, whilst a hysterical and heavily pregnant Violet screams and writhes around in grief. I mean, it was very telenovela.
It was.
Abrupt mood change, one of many. We head back to current day Aubrey Hall. Daphne is preparing the battlefield for Pall Mall and explaining the rules of the game to the Shauna sisters. Edwina seems confused by the idea that you would purposefully sabotage your opponents, but Kate, a fellow Slytherin, if ever there was one, is delighted. The Bridgertons and Sharmas assemble and go pick out their mallets. First pick goes to their guests. Edwina picks the blue, and Kate picks out the black, aka the mallet of death, aka Anthony's mallet of choice. He tries to act nonchalant, but you can tell he is devastated and trying not to blow up in front of Edwina. Not a good actor.
No.
It's hilarious. We then get a montage of the Pall Mall game with Kate doing amazingly well and Anthony watching on annoyed but trying his best to look like it doesn't bother him. Slow, polite clap and fake smile.
Meanwhile, the three matriarchs, Violet, Danbury, and Mary, all watch the kids play, and Danbury and Violet smugly proclaim their matchmaking efforts of last season a success, as if they had anything to do with it. They are thinking of going in for round 2 with Edwina and Anthony. Don't do that. Don't.
Mothers sometimes do not know best.
No,
that is the moral of the story.
No. Back on the Pall Mall field, things are getting increasingly more competitive, and it climaxes in a moment where Kate whacks Anthony's ball off into the distant woodlands, much to the delight of his family. Edwina, who has been terrible at the game and not bonding with the Bridgerton family with ease the way Kate is, decides to cut out early and go take tea with the mothers. Colin, ever the little matchmaker, then whacks Kate's ball in the same direction as Anthony's ball, and suggests the two go off into the woods alone to fetch them.
Off you pop.
Yes. Cue hijinks as Kate and Anthony scramble through the bushes and into a huge puddle of mud to retrieve their balls. This naturally leads to an adorable scene where they get stuck and then fall on their asses, laughing as they get covered from head to toe in mud. That seems to be the icebreaker they need, because they begin to sincerely talk, and Kate assures Anthony that she is simply seeking the best match for her sister to be truly happy, and that he should surely understand that, too, because he has sisters as well. They declare a truce, but Kate still smacks Anthony's ball further away, off towards a bench. This freaks Anthony out, and he walks off abruptly. When Kate goes to retrieve the ball, she finds Edmund Bridgerton's grave. a literal manifestation of Antony's daddy issues.
Speaking of, flashback numero 3. This time to the night Violet goes into labour with Hyacinth. It's just a clusterfuck of a situation for Anthony to deal with, because the baby is breached, and instead of making the decision on what to do about the situation with Violet, this fucking doctor,
Oh my god.
seeks out Anthony's opinion instead, much to the obvious fury of Violet. Fair enough. But then she starts screaming angrily about not wanting Anthony and longing for her husband, which is like really something she needs to take up with her god and not yell at her child about, to be honest.
Yes.
Not knowing anything about childbirth, Anthony's like, just do what my mom says. Leave me out of this, and he bounces.
Yes.
Also fair. Back to the present day. Anthony and Weena are having their first actual conversation of their courtship, and we are like hours into the show. It's awkward as fuck. I don't care what Edwina says later. There were awkward pauses. They're watched on by Lady Danbury and Violet, who smile encouragingly as the two stumble over their conversation. Edwina tells him that she enjoys literature and academic pursuits, and Anthony admits he never reads. A match made in heaven, you guys. They laugh about it, but what the fuck are these two going to talk about a few years into their marriage? Thankfully, we will never have to find out.
Yes.
Later that evening, Edwina tells Kate how their conversation went, and she's slightly overselling it, if you ask me. She's just... Oh, girl, you'd be lying to yourself. She's thrilled. Yeah, 100% beaming, convinced that Anthony is about to propose. Kate's like, girl, really? Downstairs, Anthony and Daphne are having a very similar conversation to the sisters. Daphne is like, are you sure about this? I mean, she's a Kanthony shipper, clearly. She just isn't getting the lovesick vibe from Anthony. But he has convinced himself that more than ever, Edwina is the perfect candidate and tells her so. Eavesdropping on both these conversations.
Tells Daphne so.
Yeah, Daphne so, yeah. Eavesdropping on both conversations, Violet and Lady Danbury, they grin manically at each other over the thought of another match made. Don't count your chickens, ladies.
Yes.
Big old mess are coming.
Oh my god. The facial expressions were killing me. They were killing me.
Adjua, give her an Emmy just for her little eyebrow raises this episode.
Yes. Back in London, Jack has invited Cressida and her parents for dinner. And it's a big old mess with Portia trying desperately to insert Prudence into the conversation, only to watch her crash and burn. Jack, for his part, seems completely oblivious and keeps openly flirting with simpering Cressida. And insinuating that he is looking for a wife. Portia looks like she is on the edge of committing a homicide.
Who can blame her?
No, I'm sure there are plenty of knives at that table. Back at Aubrey Hall, Benedict tells Colin that he has applied to study art at the Royal Academy schools, and he is super nervous about it. So Colin is like, hey man, here, have some of this mysterious unnamed powder to calm you down. And Benedict makes the bold and, let's face it, really dumb choice of dumping the entire container of powder into his tea and downing it. Immediately, you just knew it was gonna be a mess.
You don't like drugs.
Just say no.
Do crafts, not drugs. Speaking of tea, Kate is making herself a nice cup of chai and drinking it serenely as she overlooks the grounds of her future husband's estate. She looks really, really, really happy. I was like, oh, bitch, you just love Aubrey Hall. Why don't you move in? Anyway, she's interrupted by Eloise, who comes out to read, but they end up having their own little heart-to-heart moment. Eloise explains that Anthony's moodiness yesterday was because of his lingering grief for his father, and Kate shares her experiences with being a spinster. It's really cute. They have an easy and, dare I say, sisterly dynamic.
Yes, I know, right? And not
time for
sister-in-law.
Meanwhile, Edwina never has a conversation with anyone. Okay, time for yet another flashback. This time, Violet has stopped screaming, so small mercies for me. My dog did not appreciate the high-pitchedness of some of those scenes.
Oh, I bet.
And instead, she's sitting numbly in her parlour embroidering. Anthony enters and asks her to join the family dinner.
And I think
Anthony, this is it. This is my best. I am doing my best. Every day I get up, I get dressed, I feed myself, I try to breathe in and out. I force myself to stop by the nursery. And I think about how sorry I feel for little baby Hyacinth, because she will never know Edmund's laugh, or the way he smelled, or what it is to be hugged in his arms. I feel even sorrier for myself, because most of the time all I am thinking is that this little baby did not do me the kindness of killing me so that I could be with my husband. Edmund was the air that I breathed. Now there is no air. So do not ask me about family dinner. I am doing my best.
We then cut back to the present, where Violet finds Anthony sitting beside his father's grave. She finally talks to him. I cannot emphasize finally enough. And tells him that he seems too weighed down by his upcoming proposal, and that she wants him to feel the kind of love she did when she got engaged. Has she not been paying attention? Anthony is like, for the 1,000th time, woman, I do not want that. No.
Yes.
He wants a marriage with an amiable partner with whom he can share a pleasant life, untouched by heartbreak and the ravages of grief. He doesn't want to cause anyone that kind of pain. Violet has the nerve to look shocked in that moment. Girl, what did you think was going on with him for the past 11 years?
Yeah.
I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
She's like,
And
I didn't know you had grief.
Had grief and trauma over everything that happened in those months following his dad's death. But I'm sure we're going to get into that in a little bit. So
You got 5 hours?
It's now dinner time at Aubrey Hall, and Benedict is high as a kite, and it's super noticeable because he's talking gibberish and sweating all over the silverware. Across the table, Edwina and Anthony are making yet some more polite small talk, whilst Anthony openly stares at Kate. Come on, man. Come on, man. Daphne totally spots this and gives her brother a knowing kick. Good for you. Lady Danbury decides now would be an excellent time for a proposal and forces a toast from Anthony, who looks scared as hell, but keeps making eye contact with Kate. But instead of proposing, he fluffs it.
Oh,
Thank God.
Sweet.
Thank God.
Merciful God.
Back in her room, Kate is shampooing Edwina's hair while she berates herself for not getting a proposal from Anthony. The vibe is kind of like the one of those kids at a spelling bee who has spent months practicing but fucked up on their first word and is now devastated.
Yeah.
Kate holds her and as she weeps and tells her that despite this disappointment, she can still have her choice of men back in London because she's got that. She's got buckets of them. Lord Lumley.
We need to
Remember
talk
Lord
about
Lumley?
Edwina as well. There's so much to
Yes.
unpack here. Across the house, high as fuck Benedict is finger painting in his bee waistcoat.
Yes.
Benedict, in this episode, of all the episodes, are you trying to make your brother cry? Oh, most inappropriate. Eloise and Colin hand him his acceptance letter from the Royal Academy Schools. It was never in doubt. His sister
Well, of
is
course.
married to a duke, motherfucker.
Mm.
Eloise points out that he's going to be as insufferable as Colin, who's always bragging about his adventures in Greece. This is all Colin has going on right now, Eloise. Can you leave him alone?
Yeah.
Colin then admits that he is somewhat overcompensating because he's still plagued by thoughts of Marina. Gross.
Back in London, and Penelope does Madame Delacroix a solid by trashing the new modiste fashion in a Lady Whistledown column. Penelope then approaches Genevieve and asks her for help. She is worried that someone less discreet might eventually catch her if she doesn't start outsourcing some of her work, and she knows she can trust her as a fellow businesswoman. Back at Aubrey Hall, and Anthony approaches Newton, who growls at him. Iconic. Good doggy. Good doggy. Meanwhile, Kate goes for a long ride and breathes in the fresh country air. She looks really, really at home and satisfied. Just saying, you know?
It was my one moment of happiness. When she
Yes.
heads back to Aubrey Hall, Kate spots Anthony in the garden and approaches him. And this is when I started screaming the first time I watched this episode. She begins to thank him for not proposing to her sister. But Anthony ruins it and cuts her off, saying that he still intends to do that, but that his feelings prevented him from acting in that moment.
Oh my God.
So your feelings are too strong for you now?
Michele.
No. All you are doing, my lord, is toying with the emotions of an impressionable young lady.
Miss Edwina seems perfectly capable of forming her own impressions. Perhaps if you took notice
So
of
now
that,
you claim to
wouldn't-
know my sister better than me.
I know she wishes to be happy.
This is precisely what I wish for her. I can assure you, happiness is not your strength.
I mean, very harsh, but accurate.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They
She does
start
not
to
pull
talk-
punches.
I mean, I was like, whoa, you understand him and his flaws. Girl. They start to talk over each other as they argue again. But mid-fight, a bee flies onto Kate's bosom. What is that area?
It's kind of closer to her collarbone, but it's still
But it's
in
not
the...
that high, is it? It's
No.
what is that area?
It's part of her décolletage.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Anthony
Yeah.
immediately panics and grabs a hold of Kate, who tries to squirm away naturally when she sees
Mhm.
it's just a bee. This, in turn, causes the bee to sting Kate, and Anthony freaks out even more. We're talking full-blown panic attack.
Mhm.
Kate grabs his hand and reassures him, using her best calming voice, that she is fine. And as Anthony starts to calm down, he leans towards her as if he's going in for a kiss. I started screaming.
Yes.
I then hear a neigh from a mysteriously close horse. I'm like,
Damn it!
What? Was that a ghost horse? What is that about? Anyway, they realize they're in public and run away in panic, and the episode ended and I screamed for like the 5th time.
Yes. Oh my God.
The end. Okay. So first impressions of this episode.
Holy shit!
We both watched this an aggressive amount of time.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's been ridiculous. I think I've watched the first 3 episodes of this series at least 3 times since that. Yeah, because I was off, had a long weekend and managed to just glue myself into Bridgerton hell. And every time the episode ended and that stupid music starts and the scroll for the next episode goes, it's harder and harder for me to stop it. But I managed it.
I'm so proud of both of us. I don't think anyone can really understand our pain but each other, because we just keep messing each other like, I'm going to watch it again.
Mhm.
Like, it's like crack. Like,
Yes.
I'm just addicted to this episode. I think it might be the best episode of the show
Yeah.
we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Just, I
Oh my
watched
God.
it too many times.
Oh my
I
God.
think I was really like losing it last night. I was like, Rita, don't watch it again. You can't watch it again. It's driving you crazy. You're starting to quote the dialogue. No.
And you watched it again, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So wasn't it kind of crazy? Like, you never knew that was coming with the bee.
No.
I've been teasing that
No.
since the first episode of this podcast. I've been like, you won't guess it.
And I'm thinking to myself, it's just, oh, the bee shows up when people are in love and blah, 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 blah.
No.
All this lovey-dovey. No. It's the death bee. It's
the killer
death
bee.
It's a killer bee. Almost as bad as the murder hornets.
I think it's worse because it'll come like when you're just having a nice shooting expedition.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. When
I saw the episode, I was like, they can't be doing this. This is the first scene into the episode, can they? I was like, no, it's too soon to kill him off, and then boom.
And they did.
And they did. And I was like, oh, well, I did. I mean, I should have guessed because A Bee in Your Bonnet was the title of the episode, and I know the events of the story. And I was still like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when the bee situation came up, I was like, oh my god, that's it, that's why. It was silly. It was silly.
But then, like, how do you now feel about some of the Bridgerton siblings wearing bees on absolutely everything?
Kind of starting to wonder if they're all trying to make Anthony go insane.
That's my theory too.
I mean,
why?
Why would you? Why, when you know? Well, maybe they don't know that that's why their father died.
Oh, they know.
But you would think that they would. But anyway,
they know.
You would think.
Also, Benedict especially, because he's only like 2 years younger than Anthony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's out here wearing the waistcoat at Aubrey Hall of all places.
Yeah.
Why would they do that to their mother as well? Oh, fucking hell.
Seriously. Seriously.
Every time, like, I love the bee motif and, like, it's cute and I love that the fandom's taken it on. And I also like that the name of Pollen, like pollen.
Mm-hmm.
Penelope and Colin, Pollen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all very sweet, but then I also think, like, this is like a fucked up energy. Like, what's wrong with this family?
Well, maybe they have decided to say, okay, we will not fear the bee. We will be strong against the bee, and we will reclaim the bee. They just didn't give that message to Anthony.
Anthony does not feel that way.
No.
He is openly traumatized every time he sees one. There's moments in some of the books where they will, if they want to like distract Anthony, they'll go, "Oh, look, a bee!" And I always thought that was incredibly fucked up.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
That is horrible. I think these people might be psychopaths.
The poor lad.
Anyway, also, we need to talk about how much we predicted. I mean, you mentioned last week that you thought Kate would fit in perfectly to this family. And like,
oh, of course.
As soon as Pall Mall started, I was like, motherfucker, we are geniuses. I also predicted Portia's scheme completely. I think...
yes.
I think, like, it goes to show that if you pay attention that the writing is supporting the narrative choices they're making, but also that I think we are really smart, and I think we're geniuses as well.
Yes.
So everyone listen to us. Of course, we are now going to get everything wrong going forward.
Of course we will.
In our predictions.
Speaking of Anthony, let's talk about Kanthony. Have you ever seen that level of chemistry between two actors?
You know what? It really reminded me of that scene in Pride and Prejudice in the Rain where Keira Knightley and Matthew are like staring at each other intensely, like that last scene with the bee. I was like, oh my fucking god, I feel I feel tingly inside. Yep. Like these two people just looking into each other's souls, and I'm undone.
Yeah, I mean that scene exactly. When they've each had their say and have insulted the fuck out of one another. And he is looking at her and he looks at her mouth and he makes that move and then stops.
Their noses keep touching as well. I was watching over and over again and I was like, your noses are touching. Like, we've crossed a boundary here. This is like an Eskimo kiss of the situation.
Oh my god. But yeah, they are an absolute delight. And I mean, we talk about how well she fits into that family. The joy and glee that she had when she made that one shot. And, I mean, she, like, is jumping up and down. And, you know, I mean, it was like, of course she's got to be the next Viscountess Bridgerton. Because she fits in so perfectly with that family. And Anthony knows that deep down in his soul that he's trying to block off from feeling. But dude, give it up.
I couldn't help but think about them having, like, kids one day and then playing Pall Mall with them. Like, they're gonna bring this energy for generations of craziness. And I was like,
I am here for it.
I cannot wait to see them in further seasons. Like, I just think it's gonna be just delightful background nonsense is what they're gonna bring to the table.
Yes.
I love this. I love this show. And I love the care with which the show is taking in establishing them as individuals. So, like, the previous episodes were very much about building up Kate's internal life. And this week was more about Anthony and the way he is, And I think it really, for me, it really set up why he desperately needed Kate in his life and how compatible they are. Like, he's just really fun and playful, and there's so much energy whenever he's alone with her. Like, when they were sliding around in that mud, like, I was like, I've never seen him this happy. He's just laughing, and I love everything. And just, like, the bickering was so cute. You can tell that they just enjoy winding each other up, which I think is an essential part of any marriage. Like, okay, and then I like that they when they called the truce and they bonded over their family as well. I think there's, like, a level of respect there as well as all the craziness. I really like. We've moved away from the enemies part, and now we're getting to, like, now they really respect each other, and they like there's, like, safety as well in this completely. Oh, I can't gush enough. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop.
No, I totally agree with you that the scene that you were just talking about, where she halts him and says, "I am the same for Edwina in every way that matters," and you know, and it was just like the fierceness that she said that. You could tell he was instantly full of respect for her. You know?
With this relationship, I just feel like it's so good for both of them. I don't see many relationships where, like, these people are actually better for being with each other. And that's what I get from these two. Like, everything about it feels like natural, like a connection that's built on really strong foundations. And that's great. And I also think they have, like, weirdly hot, sexy looks at each other. And it's just, like, perfect in every way.
Yes, it's killing me.
Okay, so one thing I did want to tell you, which is a slight book spoiler.
Okay.
But I need to tell you this so that you can understand me a little bit better in the next few episodes.
Okay.
So, in the book, after the bee scene, Anthony and Kate are caught and they become engaged.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's not very far into the book. They're just engaged. They're together, and that's the rest of the book.
Seriously?
Yep.
So we don't have any more of this crazy shenanigan love triangle bullshit in the book.
No, there's no love triangle in the book at all.
Oh,
really.
For God's sake. Well, okay, drama. Hashtag drama.
Yeah, it's going to be more dramatic.
Yes.
And as we go further, I felt like I needed to tell you this because as we go further into the season, I'm going to start to lose my patience. I'm already like, why aren't these motherfuckers kissing?
Yes. Oh my God.
So,
well, okay,
when I'm screaming, please understand it comes from that, and not from, like...
Okay.
I'm not being impatient. I just am comparing, okay?
I will buckle in for some serious tooth-grinding moments.
I mean, I'm already there. I'm like, why? Anthony and Edwina.
Oh,
If
God.
anything, I think I have more to say about this than Kate and Anthony, because we finally got to see them interact by themselves,
Yes.
like for the
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah. And it was perfectly pleasant. You know, it was a perfectly pleasant interaction, but there was nothing there.
I was like, he's so nice to her, and that's very sweet. And I don't know if this is me being a Kanthony shipper, but I definitely got like a paternalistic vibe where it was like, he was like, oh, that's so sweet that you like to read. I'm just so busy with all of my responsibilities. And it's like he's being very nice to her, but there's no vibe here.
No. It's just like, okay, you just need to stop. Because there is no fire. Meanwhile, Danbury and Violet are looking way too pleased with themselves over
what are
this
they
whole
seeing
thing.
that we're not seeing?
It's like, wait a second. Seriously? You're thinking that this is working? And
I don't think Violet is, but I need to talk about that later. I have thoughts about that as well.
Yes.
Why is Edwina straight up saying that there were no lulls in the conversation and that it went brilliantly?
I think she's trying to tell herself that everything went brilliantly. I think she knows that things weren't as perfect as possible. And, she's very young. She is idolizing Anthony, as this dashing Prince Charming. And she's trying to convince herself that it went swimmingly.
Do you think she's trying to prove it to her sister as well? 'Cause
I think so.
She's like, I've made this decision, so I have to, advocate for it. Because my sister told me not to do this, and it turns out I made a mistake. Oh.
Yeah. And it's like, no, Lord Lumley. Don't forget Lord Lumley.
He reads books. You could talk about that for years. Anyway.
Yeah.
I was very moved by that scene of her crying.
Oh, yes.
It didn't come across as heartbreak crying. And I said earlier, it was giving a spelling bee child energy. When you see this very academic child who has become the star of their family and expectations have been placed on them achieving greatness. And then when they don't meet those expectations, they start berating themselves and be like, there's something wrong with me. I am the problem here. It's just oh, girl, you need
and it's
this is
like,
this is not healthy.
It's like, you need to ease up on yourself, my sweet.
It's a lot of internalized pressure as well, because it's not like she's getting this from her mother or her sister. Despite the fact that
she has no idea about the deal that their grandparents are making with regards to the marriage. She has no idea about that. If she did, she would throw that pressure on top of everything else, and she would have been ready to throw herself off the roof.
I now understand Kate not wanting to tell her. I didn't really before, because I was like, she's old enough, she can handle this, but clearly she cannot.
No.
So much of what is happening between Edwina and Anthony, I think, is more about societal pressure and family responsibility than it is about them. And I think that carriage scene at the first scene between the family where she's wondering what she should wear, I was like, she keeps calling Anthony the Viscount. I think she sees him more as the Viscount, this idealized version of him and his title and all of the things she aspires to, and then Kate just sees him as Anthony, this prick who keeps winding her up. And I think in that respect, Anthony and Edwina are quite similar in that they see each other as sort of placeholders of people rather than as actual people. They're just stereotypes to each other.
Mm-hmm. Edwina is the diamond, and Anthony thinks, okay, I need to marry the diamond. It's like, she's more than the diamond. And I think he is going to start recognizing just how foolish he is being.
I think he's sort of starting to twig in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wouldn't have hesitated to propose, I think, last week.
Mm-hmm.
But when that moment came, you can see he's like, no, this isn't right, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. And he kept looking at Kate to save him, because there was a moment where he just makes eye contact with Kate, like, please.
Yeah, like, please stop
this. And Kate immediately is like, me and Edwina need to leave, because she's picking up on that vibe. Meanwhile, Edwina, sitting right next to him, is sitting looking hopefully at him like, go on, finish your sentence then. It's like, why are you not picking up on the panic?
Because he is the Prince Charming.
I kind of got the sense that in that last argument that Kate is sort of infantilizing Edwina still a little bit, though, because she's all like, you're manipulating this poor impressionable young woman, but he's not lying to Edwina at any point. I mean, this episode she got told he won't spend much time with her and that they have nothing in common, and Edwina managed to romanticize and distort even that. I mean, it's relatable. It's a very classic teenage girl thing to do, where you're like, I'm gonna romanticize this man who's offering me no emotions. Woo! Isn't it?
Isn't this lovely?
You're like, no, he's literally offering you nothing. You're gonna be dissatisfied in like 6 weeks. But as a grown woman, Kate is picking up on these cues and going like, oh, honey, no.
Anthony and Violet. I found the scenes, even though some of the scenes were very, obviously, let's ramp up the panic and emotion in order to get everybody tensed up about things. I found each of the scenes with Anthony and his mother just heartbreaking. I think I told you in my first text with you after I'd finished the episode that, like, get the tissues ready, get them ready. I was crying through the whole thing. Every single one of the scenes with the two of them, I cried. And the scene where she is sitting on the couch and telling him that, she's doing her best. Honestly, that kind of destroyed me. It is, she depicted what, and everybody experiences grief in different ways. But the way that she was depicting it spoke so deeply to my own experience with the loss of my mother, that it was too painful to watch. It doesn't help that, I'm watching these episodes, right around the time of year when my mother passed. And so, it was already on my mind. And then that scene was just destroyed me. And I'm sitting here just remembering it and I'm getting tears in my eyes. It was shattering. I thought that they were brilliantly done. They gave us so much information and depth into their characters. I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose. And the actress that plays Violet.
Oh, Ruth Gamble.
Oh my God. When she orders Anthony to go and block the children.
Oh God, that was like, that's the moment. That's the relationship has just shifted on its axis.
Yep. And she bellows. I mean, she bellows the word go. And I mean, it's just so shaking. And, you see him walking towards the children and he's trembling, and crying. And I mean, oh my God. It was pretty incredible.
And it's so rare to have like such a complicated mother-son relationship like this. I can't think of any other show that's done some. It's usually like father, daughter,
father, son, and and
mother,
father, daughter, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like this is completely unique. I mean, my main takeaway from this, and the way that this differs from the book, is that Anthony's issues were mostly based on his father, and I think in the series, his relationship with his mother has also been, like, in a way, I feel like Anthony was left an orphan to his mother's grief, because their relationship completely shifted, and I don't feel like she is much of a mother to him at this point.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, when, she says she's doing her best, and she is not available. Yeah. She is not available to him, to provide him any guidance on what he should be doing. He's getting it all from these other people. Yeah. And it's because she is not there.
And obviously she can't be.
She is consumed. Yeah, because she's consumed with the loss of a husband who she loved deeply. Theirs was a love match.
I just can't help but be in Anthony's head, because so much of the book was from his point of view. And the idea of his father died in front of him, his mother is now screaming at him, he's now taking care of his 7 younger siblings by himself.
Yeah.
And he's 18. Like, that's so difficult to think. And that's going to change him forever. I get really annoyed.
Definitely.
I get really, really annoyed with Violet in that scene where she's saying, well, you used to be like this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, but he's been irreparably changed by the events of his life. And you were there for them. You've been changed by them as well. So expecting
him to be the way he was before that moment is
so unfair.
So naive and unfair. And because I think when you lose someone suddenly, it's not expected. It just happens. It's like, and I'm speaking from my own experience, but I think that it's probably something that others would feel as well. It's like you can almost, I can still picture exactly where I was when I learned the news and how everything that I had been to that moment had been irreparably changed.
Well, there is that line. There is that line.
Yeah, and there is that. There is
I
that
remember
line.
every detail, and I was like, "Oh, that's such good writing."
Yep. And she doesn't get that. She has not taken that in. It's like he says the line, but she doesn't hear it.
I just can't get over how shocked she looked in that scene. It made me so annoyed with her. I was like, what has been going on with you, Violet, that you have not noticed this? Because I felt like he's been radiating trauma since the first scene of this show. And he's been saying, I don't want a love match. She's still pushing for it. I just don't think she listens to him. She doesn't take him seriously. Yeah. And I need her to start understanding him a little. Because that what, as beautiful as some of these scenes are, and as interesting as it is, it breaks my heart. It does.
Yeah.
And then to have her later still pushing for this marriage with Edwina, when she has said multiple times that she doesn't think he's happy when he's with her. Why is she doing this then? It's like... And I get really frustrated as well when you contrast her relationship with Daphne with the one she has with Anthony. It's poles apart in terms of her capabilities of being emotional and open with her daughter. And then she's saying, Anthony, you need to love, you need to open up and be loving and caring. And I don't see that energy from her. She's closed herself emotionally from her son. He's done the exact same thing in return. And now she's saying, well, don't be like that. Do as I say. not as I do. And
Yeah.
it's like very hypocritical for me, and I feel like they need years of trauma therapy.
Oh my God, yes. I think what would make me really happy would be that as a result of, all of the things that happen in this season, we see growth in Violet.
Yes, she needs it.
We see a growth and realization in Violet, so that her character isn't just the one that's always pushing for her children to marry.
Yeah.
That she learns from this experience that, there's a lot more that she needs to be paying attention to. Kind of like she did when Daphne confronted her and, said, yeah, thanks a lot, Mom, for not giving me the information I needed to know what was going on. She learned from that. But anyway,
that's
we need
later
to move
on in the show.
Yes.
What I just want to say,
we're almost an hour in, and we still have so much to do.
But I have so much to feel. My feelings. Anyway, the family dynamic and all of the flashbacks and stuff was. I love watching these people play pal mal. I was so excited. It
that
was
was the
fun.
delight.
You see why it's such a popular scene. Like, everyone was so excited about it, and I think it lived up to the hype.
Yes. I love the frantic scramble for the mallets.
Yes, that's from the book.
After the Sharma sisters, selected theirs, and it was just like, yeah!
And then Anthony's just like, because he can't be manic in front of Edwina. He's just, and it ends up with what's left, and he's like, oh!
Yes, and he's like, oh, God!
I also loved, like, just seeing Kate slot into them, because, I also noticed even at dinner, she finds Benedict's crazy high ramblings really funny. She's, like, not put off by them at all. I'm like, oh, you need to marry into this family.
I love it. Oh my God. Daphne's return.
Okay, well.
I was so happy to see her there.
It was nice, wasn't it? I didn't really notice that Simon wasn't around, to be honest. I was just like, he's busy.
Yeah, he's busy doing Duke stuff. And I love the fact that, she was there to observe what was going on.
Ooh,
and how quickly she picked up on, okay, there's something not right happening.
Yeah, because she doesn't have an agenda. I think unlike the matriarch, she just wants Anthony to be happy. And with, like, Lady Danbury, she's just like, I think she's trying to help out Kate, ironically. She's like, I'm going to get Edwina the biggest match of the season. I'm going to kill it again. Yes. And you're like, oh, honey, no, you're making this situation worse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
When she was like, okay, Anthony, time to propose now. Ding, ding, ding. Make a speech.
Oh, my God. It's like, woman?
I was like, no, this is not it, Lady Danbury. No. I also couldn't help but notice Mary was left out of all those scenes. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder if she's going to be the one to save us. Save us, Mary.
Oh, God.
She's like, I did not sign up for this wedding. No, thank you.
I don't know. I found that very odd that she was not part of all of the kind of like the conversation that Anthony was having with Edwina. Why wouldn't Mary be there? Sitting with the other ladies.
I wonder if part of this is that she did choose to love someone outside of society and her expectations, and she just doesn't buy into the whole marriage mart thing as much as these two ladies clearly do.
Yeah.
But it's now come to a point where I'm like, can we get some Mary here? Sometimes they show her and I'm like, oh yeah, you're here too.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, her mom is still around. Okay.
Okay. So for, I just wanted to mention some things for like, the Pall Mall thing.
Oh, yes.
So in the book.
Yes.
Colin picked a yellow mallet.
Okay.
In the show, Eloise has it, and I was like, that's fucking annoying because yellow is Penelope's colour. What are you doing, show? You are erasing the pollen of it all. And do we think that Daphne Bridgerton would have actually won? Because, I mean...
I think she could have.
Do you think everybody else is just so messy that she just wins by default?
I think she could have. You know, it's like everybody else is like gunning for one another, and she is playing a smart game.
She is the diamond, after all.
Yes.
That didn't translate to Edwina, though.
No.
I don't know.
No. You know, I seem to remember. Okay, yeah, we will go back to Pall Mall for a minute. You know, when
we're all over the place.
When she hits her ball and it goes into the bushes, I remember that, you know, she was told, you know, you can go get your ball and continue to play. And, you know, she looks into the bushes and then she looks down at her gown and decides, no, I'm gonna sit this out. Because
she wants to keep her dignity.
Yeah, you know, and she wants to, you know, keep her gown nice and pretty and clean, and you know, because you know she has to impress Anthony that she is the perfect person to be the new Viscountess. Meanwhile, Kate's like
just hiking up her
all
dress.
right, let's go. It's like, and she's like, okay, nothing to be more. And I loved her hot pink shoes. They were so cute.
Oh.
They were so cute. And
what I didn't love is the squelching noises, though, as she sunk in.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That would have completely thrown me off. I would have been like, okay, this is like a pain worse than death right now. So, ew. Oh my God. I could watch that Pall Mall scene over again and again.
Oh, I have. I've watched it too much.
Oh, it's so good.
Arguably.
It's so good.
Okay. So other storylines, because oh my God, we're really running out of time.
Yes.
Penelope and Madame Delacroix. How much do we care? I was meh. I was like, okay, this is happening.
While there is muh going on, it had to happen because Penelope can't maintain this ruse by herself. She can't do it. And especially now that
Eloise is a cock block.
Oh God, her name just Eloise. Thank you.
Cock blocker.
That Eloise is out and you know, grabbing her at inopportune moments to go and drag her away to do something when, you know, Penelope's got a deadline. So you know, I understand that they have to do something in order to keep this going through this season as well as into next season. Here's a question. Do you think that it'll be revealed in season 3? Oh, not season 3, because Benedict is next.
It would be 4.
Yeah, season 4.
I think it has to be let out for that book to be adapted, to be honest, because the huge part of that book is her unveiling. I was just sort of like, this feels like it's going to be more important in a later episode, but I was just sort of like getting through it. I was like, okay. And
you
like,
just want to go back to Aubrey Hall.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, we're doing this, are we? It's just, it was like 3 separate scenes that could have been done in one, basically. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You could have just had that conversation. I was also like, Penelope, you have just discovered SponCon. Why don't you start charging businesses for mentions in your articles? Like, this is a great avenue for making revenue. Anyway, she won't do it because the show does not care for business strategies. Another storyline, kind of, if you squint, it was a storyline. Benedict getting into art school.
Yes.
And Colin being really in love with Marina. I mean, who saw that plot twist coming?
Still tied up with that. I did not see that coming. And when, you know, Colin reveals that he has been thinking about her, I literally threw my hands up in the air. I was just like, Oh, for God's sake.
It's really annoying, but also I was like, this is incredibly believable. Because how would you get over something like this so quickly? This is a formative relationship, and he has been essentially traumatized. Like, this is going to inform his relationship with any romantic relationship going forward, because he's like going to have trust issues. So it's important that they deal with it, but also, oh God, I want to cry. And also, like with the art school thing, I was like, is this season 3 prep? Like, why are we doing this now? I was like, this seems really early on. But then also, like, when you think about how much screen time Anthony got in season 1 compared to Benedict in season 2, I'm like, But
I mean, that's what they're doing. They're laying the groundwork. They're laying the groundwork for next season. I have to say, I love Benedict's cravats.
Yes. Oh, and his waistcoats.
I love them.
Did you see the embroidered flowers on his waistcoats? I was like, oh, yes, he's got fashion style.
Yes, he is the dandy. He's doing his cravats in artistic and exciting ways, and I just love.
I didn't love his finger painting though. I was like, am I supposed to be impressed by this rainbow thing he's drawn? I know he's high, but I was like, oh.
Well,
okay.
I have to admit, it was better than some of the stuff we've seen him do on his show so far.
Hey, he was drawing hands, and I was like, those hands are impressive.
Yeah. Nothing else. It's like everything else was kind of. This I could see on a plate.
It would be on somebody's Etsy for sure. Like,
yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the Portia Prudence storyline. Oh my god.
I love that so much.
It was perfect. This was my favorite nun triangle storyline. I was like, Portia, you continue to be the absolute best thing in my life.
Oh my god, it's like we need someone stupid enough to be malleable, and then on cue, in walks Prudence. I want the larger room. It was always unfair. I was like, oh my god.
Right there, I was like, oh my god, am I Portia? Because I thought in the exact same way as her. When she's like, we need new gowns, I was like, they're going to be all titty. And I was right.
Oh, yes. Yes, they were going to be the décolletage. I said it earlier.
Décolletage?
Yeah, décolletage.
We're not French. It just doesn't work. Yeah.
That, I remember reading in some of my trashy Regency era romance novels where they're cut so low that you can almost see their nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, oh my god.
To be honest, the actual dress they gave her at the end wasn't that booby. I kept thinking, like, you need to get the violet cut. The one she had for Daphne's wedding. That was just all boob.
Yes.
Portia's going to hit her up next week like, what Modiste did you go to for that dress? Such beautiful gowns.
Love them so much.
Portia in general, I want to cry because I think, how do I express this? When you think about it, what she's doing is not really that different from Violet and Lady Danbury. She's just much worse at it. And far less subtle. She's just like trying to save her family via this marriage, and she's going about it in the worst way possible because she's got Prudence to try and sell off. It's all fun and games when you have an Edwina to try and pimp out to people, but when you have Prudence, who is like, oh my god, when Prudence was like talking about anywhere lower than Hampshire being uncivilized. Yes. I was like, oh god.
Oh my lord.
She's not got a lot to work with here. Oh no. It's going to continue to be hilarious, so we're looking forward to that.
definitely.
What?
But Cowper has got to go.
Oh, I hate her. Oh,
She's just got to go.
the
And I mean,
simpering.
did you see her? Did you the simpering? And then, like, whenever he was talking about, that he's, basically looking for a wife, and they would
The smug
they
look.
would cut over to her, the smug look and the slow chew.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I don't think I can't stand them, and I don't know why, because they're not really that different from Portia and her daughters. I think it's just the air of superiority. I'm like, you are not better than these people. You are the same. And
exactly. Oh my God.
so what was your favourite scene?
Oh, how can I choose one? Besides the end scene, because I will forever have that in my memory banks, along with all of the other favorite scenes from Regency dramas, i.e., the rain
scene
in Pride and Prejudice,
and the hand scene in Pride and Prejudice where he clenches his hand.
God,
oh, hand
the
porn.
hand scene. Oh, I love Matthew McFadden so much.
Right.
So good. Anyway, this show, favorite scene. I think I have a couple. The Pall Mall scene, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And the scene where Violet is saying that she's doing her best. Even though it was devastating to watch, I thought it was, one of the most powerful scenes that I've seen in a drama. Because she perfectly depicted what it feels like. It's like you go through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those two scenes. I love the scene where Kate is out riding and stops and looks over the English countryside, and you see just how happy she is.
This was such a good Kate episode. Anthony was going through a whole mess, but Kate was so happy, and I was like, thankful. Like, after the past 2 episodes where she's nearly made me cry all the time, I was so happy for her. She's found a place in England that she feels at home in.
That she feels at home in. Yeah,
it's beautiful. Oh, get married to that man, Kate.
Yeah, go, run, fast, go, now. Kiss him in a hedge. Force the hand. Let's get moving. Oh, Lord.
I think
okay, how about you?
Okay. I love the scene where they fall in the mud. That is hilarious. And
oh, God, that's awesome.
I also kind of think that some of their laughing was, like, not strictly in character, because I was like, I've heard those giggles before, and they were between Simone and Johnny. I think I also really loved that scene where Kate was washing Edwina's hair.
That was lovely.
It was beautiful and like sisterly, and I like it was the moment where you really got to know Edwina. But I was also like, low key, part of me was like, this is kind of an act of subordination on Kate's part, isn't it? That she's the one that's doing all of the caring, and you would never see Edwina doing the same for Kate. Edwina's the star.
No.
And Kate is like her little maid that washes her hair and makes her feel better and tells her everyone still loves her. And I think like there's so much depth in these sister scenes that I love them. I could analyze them for years, but we don't have time. Before the season is out, I want Edwina to perform a sisterly caring act for Kate. So I feel like
yes, please.
They're like
yes, please
on the same level, please, because I feel sad. Least favorite scenes.
You go first.
The obvious one for me is the fact that they're fucking stag hunting in Kent in the middle of summer. What the fuck?
I take it that's the wrong time of year to be doing that kind of
also,
thing.
The wrong part of the country, the wrong kind of deer, just everything. Hunting season is in the winter. We're getting a hunting episode next in episode 4 because it's a hunting party. I want to weep. Hunting season is winter. Have any of these writers ever been to England that they think that you can hunt stag in Kent? This is, oh God, sometimes I just want to cry. It's like, please hire one English person to consult, because this is crazy, and I hated it. Anyway.
Oh my God, Rita, I love you.
I'm very aware that, like, most of the people that listen to this podcast are American, and they're probably like, she's just being nitpicky. But when you live here, it's like the dumbest thing that I've ever seen.
I think the least favorite scene, even though it was a pivotal scene, it was the scene where Violet is in labor. It was just painful. It was painfully hard to watch. To watch her going through that, when she's and I'm wondering how soon after the husband's death did she go into labor.
I think she was 8 months pregnant when he died, so it would have been within a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, because it seemed like it could have been that same evening because of all of the distress that she was in.
Could have been.
Bringing on an early labor, which, would make sense that the baby wouldn't have been turned the right way. But, it was just so hard to watch. And, it's like, okay, a choice is going to need to be made. And she spells it out for him, and it's just horrifying.
Can we wig talk? We're talking wigs, baby. Can we wig talk? Baby. Talk about wigs growing. I have only positive things to say. Daphne's hair. What a glow up from season 1. The bangs looked cute. The colour was completely different, but probably suited her a bit better. I was living for it, and I think everyone looked great. We loved it.
I am still upset about Danbury's edges.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It's so noticeable, though.
Because it is so obvious. It's like, yo, you guys need a darker makeup to go over that. Because
they are not blending in anybody's edges, though.
No!
Hers
are really obvious.
They're doing extreme close-ups of Simone Ashley's face, and you can see the lace.
Yep. Yeah. So get on the wig game, people. You gotta
must do better.
Lay those edges. Lay them.
And also, Eloise's wig still looks like she's wearing a slightly wonky hat. Just like it never looks like it's settled properly. Ugh.
Oh, God.
But, I mean, I like the styles of the hair. I think, like, if you just blended it in better, it would.
Yeah. I mean, that's my only complaint is they've got to do a better job with the edges. Come on, people.
Favorite costume moments. Mine was Kate's riding habit at the end, like the royal blue one.
Yes.
I love the little coat. I also noticed that her and Anthony were wearing like the same colour waistcoats, like they were both in a matching royal blue. Meanwhile,
already in the matchy mode.
Edwina's forever in these soft pink tones. Like when she's like, "I'm going to wear the pink dress for dinner."
Which pink?
I'm like,
which pink?
Do you wear anything else?
Yeah,
always.
It's
pink.
like you've got 87 pink dresses. Come on now.
Oh God.
I love Kate's costuming. The costuming that they have done for her is just exquisite.
I love her jewelry as well. Oh,
yes.
Her jewelry. Oh.
Yes. Ugh. And when she went into the mud with that dress, I was like, no, not the dress. It's so pretty. Oh, God.
They had to make 20 of those dresses just so that they could shoot that. What's really interesting is like the costume designer is posting all of her outfits on Instagram, so you can go check.
I'm trying to avoid
the spoilers. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
But I'm like, I followed her because I was like, the outfits aren't really spoilers, are they? It's just clothes. And so far, like, I don't know what they're doing, but they're going in like order. So that's really helpful for me because I haven't seen any outfits from later on.
Oh gosh. Well, you'll have to get me her.
I'll send you the links for the safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be great.
And like all of the individual, like each individual piece of jewelry, the bags, the gloves, the hats, like everything is made for the show.
Wow.
And so often with period dramas, you will see the same outfits repeat. And I'm always so proud of myself when I'm like, that's from Emma. I saw that 3 years ago. Because I recognize some of these looks. And it makes sense because, like, how many can you think about how many hours it takes to produce that outfit? And then you can put it on somebody else that makes sense.
Exactly.
It's crazy to think that they just produced thousands of these incredible individual looks
just for this show.
For the show.
You know, in
really want to steal some of Kate's earrings.
For real. When we had the scene at Ascot and the men are wearing those beautiful hats. The hats that they were wearing were absolutely exquisite. You could see the I'm sure that they didn't use beaver hair, which
they might have for some of the main cast, but not.
But yeah, I mean, you could see just the smoothness of the way they were. I mean, just the detail, the level of detail on this show is mind-boggling.
Yeah, and how much work probably goes in that we don't see. I kind of feel bad for everybody that works on the show that everyone binged this show because I'm like, when you're forced to watch, when you're forced to watch like this one episode 7 times in a row to survive mentally, you pick up on all these little details and you're like, oh my god,
yes,
this is so much hard work goes into producing.
It's amazing.
Show.
It's amazing. Okay.
We've got so much to do.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Official
bee count.
Official bee count. Official bee count. We got 2 bees. 2 bees. And also Benedict wearing that bee waistcoat. So does that count as 3?
I think so.
So 3. And then you add that to the one we had before. 4. So already, I wonder if we're getting any more bees. I feel like I maybe overshot this, thinking there would be more bees. Well, they did the bees in the same episode.
Yeah, I think we're going to get another bee. I do.
I hope so.
I do.
I hope so. Okay, performer of the episode.
Oh, that's really hard.
It comes down to 2 people, doesn't it? And you've got to choose.
My choice might be a bit surprising. The actress that plays Violet.
Ruth Gamble, again, what a star.
Yeah, I thought that she was pretty freaking brilliant in this.
Well, because you said that, I'm going to say Jonathan Bailey. I'm like, because I feel like they were both on equal footing in this episode.
Yes.
I was like, there's just I don't know how you would differentiate because I think like
it's hard.
Like, they're both sensational. Like I can't say one of them's better than the other. Like it's impossible.
Yeah. I mean it's hard. It's hard, and I admit that the reason why I went with her is probably because it resonated so much with me.
Yeah, I'm very conscious that I've picked Simone for the past 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh yeah, Jonathan is doing some of the best work I've ever seen. He's killing it every week, and he's like got this huge mantle to take on being the male lead after all the fuss that was made after Reggae left. So I just thought, let's appreciate Jonathan.
He's doing it proud.
Yeah. And just, he had like this was his episode, like in terms of the writing, it was like all supporting the growth of Anthony.
All right. Yeah. But how many B's out of 5?
5. 5. Is that surprising to anyone? 11. 11.
20 billion. Okay. Yeah. No, 5.
We have to do the inbox now because it's really lengthy. We got loads of emails. Thank you, everyone who got in touch. I love you all dearly.
Yes. Thank you.
I've had to paraphrase and edit some of the emails for time because I think at this point everyone has run out of patience with how long these podcasts are getting.
I mean, how long can you walk a dog? Anyway, okay. So, the first of many. Hello, Michele and Rita. I'm from Finland. I've been a fan of your podcast since season 1. I've read all the Bridgerton and Roxby books, as well as many other books from Julia Quinn. I love the show too, but still, I will always be a faithful book fan. I was taken by this season and binge-watched it in just 2 days. I loved to listen to your podcasts when the first season came out because I hadn't anyone to talk about it. Now we have made a Bridgerton fan club and I am president of it. We like to talk about your podcasts.
Oh!
Oh my god. Little heart emoji. Your fan from afar, Lumi Maria. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Everyone I've ever met from Finland has been delightful, so I love you, and please, I wish I could be a part of your club, but spoilers, so...
we can't, so...
We live alone.
Yes.
Our next one said, "Hi Rita and Michele. Take me to Aubrey Hall and let me hang out with the Bridgertons. Did you notice the flowers that Edmund picked were hyacinths?"
Yes, they were. They were hyacinths.
I was honestly in that moment, I was just like, why the fuck are you ripping them out the ground? You're rich. Your poor groundskeeper is like, no. Anyway.
Oh, but yes, they're hyacinths.
That's why people had hot houses. I'm just saying. Anyway, love Daphne's analysis of her siblings' pal-mal strategies. Love Colin and Benedict. This is the Colin from the books. Sneakily pranking his siblings. And also subtly, accidentally doing some matchmaking.
Yeah.
I loved Eloise and Kate.
Oh my god, yes.
Loved Kanthony playing Pall Mall and their foray into the mud. Still not sure how I feel about the bee stinging Kate scene, because I'm a book reader. I have conflicting feelings. Same.
Mm-hmm.
The scenes back in London were meh. That's the same word I used.
Yes, indeed.
I went back and watched 108 with your commentary. Last week you said that Eloise went to Lady Whistledown's printer, and I didn't remember that. I thought she went to Madame Delacroix's shop, but you were right.
Mm-hmm.
OMG, they really dropped the ball on this storyline. I will just politely ignore the plot holes. Very magnanimous of you.
Yes, because we won't.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
I'm also happy that you guys are including a theme-related song at the end of the podcast again. They always make me smile, and I listen all the way to the end. Your fan, Carol in CT. Where's CT?
CT is Connecticut.
Ooh, fancy.
Yes.
That's where
Connecticut.
No, wait, where the Kennedys from Massachusetts? Am I making that?
Massachusetts, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, similar vibe, though, right? It's like country club life.
Yeah, it is close to New York, and so there are a lot of people that may live in the city or may work in the city and live in Connecticut. Okay, hey Rita and Michele, Simon made a cameo during the croquet match in the book. Why couldn't he make one here? I was hoping for this ever since season 2 was announced. Simon could have shared meaningful looks with Daphne during the fireworks. The doctor won't ask Violet what she wants. I know women didn't have many rights back then, but not giving one a choice between life and death is extra terrible. Yeah. Anthony should have known better than to embarrass Edwina in front of everyone. I want to like him as much as Kate, but he keeps pulling jerk moves. Thanks, Elizabeth.
So one thing I will say about the Simon cameo being cut, I actually think it works better in the book. Simon and Edwina sort of bond over the fact that the Bridgerton family are fucking insane, and they sort of go, these people are crazy. And I think not having him there meant Edwina was more isolated, and she was just like the lemon standing in the corner. Everyone was just like politely clapping. And I think if Simon was there, he probably would have made her feel too comfortable, and we wouldn't have got the great contrast.
Yeah.
And conveniently, then nobody had to pay Regé-Jean Page $50,000 for a 5-minute cameo. So that's.
Oh my lord.
Anyway, the next.
What price fame?
The next one says, the next email says, "Hi. When it opened on Anthony and Edmund, my first thought was, oh, we're just gonna jump to this, huh?" Rupert was fantastic. I wish we had more of you. I can't get over how Anthony started to visibly shake and sounded so helpless and childlike during that scene. It broke my heart. My heart literally broke in every flashback scene for Anthony and Violet. They killed this episode. How cute!
Preach!
How cute is Baby Augie? I want to steal him. I want to steal that baby. Give me that baby.
Oh my God.
I love how
that child is so cute.
So cute. I love how Eloise is basically uninterested in the baby and then frozen terror when Violet hands him to her. It's very funny.
Yes.
I relate to that. I'm just going to say it. The Pall Mall scene was better in the book. I enjoyed the mud part immensely, but the rest of it was really boring. I did enjoy the stark contrast in attitude between everyone and Edwina during the game, though. It really showed that she is not a good fit for the family. Preach. And now,
yes,
the bee scene. The way Anthony's eyes never left the bee as soon as he saw it buzzing around Kate, and the absolute terror when it landed on her lapel, and the panic attack he has after she gets stung, his eyes going back and forth between the sting site and her face to make sure she's okay. He feels helpless again. Things are out of his control. And the very faint clock ticking that begins as soon as Kate is stung and doesn't stop until she puts his hand over her heart and the heartbeats take over. Anthony so good. Anthony can't calm down until the sound of her heart drowns out the ticking clock in his head. And then he is so relieved she is okay that he almost kisses her. And it's when he knows he's fucked. I love this scene.
Yes!
I love that they weren't caught in a compromising position like in the book. I love everything about that scene. Give Johnny an award for this, please. Love y'all. Hillary. Hey, Hillary, bestie.
Hey.
That was a good email.
Oh my gosh.
I want to frame it.
Hi, ladies. Hoping all is well. So now I remember why I didn't think there was much going on in episode 2. Because there is so much going on in episode 3. This episode was amazing. I loved it. I thought it was so well done from start to finish. In episode 2, we learned what Anthony wants, but in episode 3, we learn why. Anthony's backstory completes the picture of why duty and love do not mix for him, and why he desires never to marry for love. All right, ladies, the Pall Mall scene. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. It was so good when Kate grabs the mallet of death and says the line to Anthony, I know that some men cannot perform without their familiar tools. Like a child with a blanket. Oh my God, I lost it.
Yes! I have to mention, there was this one moment where it was while Lady Danbury was talking. You can hear faintly in the background, Anthony is showing Edwina how he hits the ball, and he's sort of hip thrusting, and Kate comes along behind him and goes, she's like, you've got terrible follow through. I was like,
ouch! Oh my God!
I was like, oh my God! What are they cutting out of this show? Because that was just like in the background.
Oh my God! And
there's
the way
a weird
she delivered
sexual
that line,
vibe.
Yeah, the way she delivered that line, like a child with a blanket. I was like, oh, I love it so much. Oh my gosh!
She's trying to fuck with him the whole time, and we stand.
Oh yeah. Okay, back to the email. Then when Anthony is trying to help Kate out of the mud and they both fall in, she makes him full-on belly laugh. I was trying to remember, has there been another time in the series when we have seen Anthony laugh? I couldn't think of one. Yes, I know Edwina makes him laugh later in the episode, but not like Kate does. Absolutely not. Finally, the bee scene. I need more adjectives for amazing. I've read so many people say that they wanted to see how it was written in the book, but I never liked the forced aspect it created between Kate and Anthony. I liked the screen version so much better. It created this tender, intimate moment between the two characters and adds another layer to their developing relationship. Cannot say enough about this episode. It was fantastic. Can't wait to hear the podcast. Thank you!
Thank you. I quite like a forced engagement, which is what they have in the book. I like when people are like, oh fuck, well we have to get married now.
Right.
And it's always way too soon and you're like scrambling for the rest of the book. I like, it's just like one of the things that makes me enjoy romance novels.
Yeah.
But anyway, different strokes for different folk. Dear Michele and Rita, thank you for your podcast. I discovered you guys in 2020 after binging Poldark during lockdown. Oh, that poor woman.
Oh, the days.
Love your insights and appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Yes.
First off, I laughed out loud when Rita said she's shipping Portia Featherington and Jack because their ship name will be Jack Paw. Can we not come up with something better?
Jack Poor.
Porak?
Poor.
No, okay, it doesn't work, does it?
Mm-mm.
Spoiler alert, question mark, sorry. I don't know what that means. I don't know, I just choose not to think about this. I hope they fuck, but anyway. And Rita also predicted the Prudence and Jack storyline.
Yes. Yes, she did.
Just based on them both being tall. So, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway. Episode 3 is one of my favourite episodes this season. There was plenty to take in. Love the Pall Mall scenes and any other scenes when the Bridgerton siblings are together.
Mm-hmm.
We also got an insight on Anthony and Violet's trauma when Edmund died, and then Violet and Anthony trying to work out the aftermath years later. The use of Daphne in this episode was so wonderful because she reads Anthony's attraction to Kate right away once the Sharmas and Lady Danburys arrived at Aubrey Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony and Kate's relationship move forward as they somehow outplay and laugh at each other during Pall Mall. We also see Anthony grow in this episode, being truthful and charming with Edwina and this
Infatuates her feelings for Anthony.
Her feelings for Anthony. I love that Anthony told Kate that Edwina is capable of informing her own opinion, perhaps suggests that Edwina has been sheltered all her life. Yes, very insightful from Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give him enough credit sometimes. He is smart. Anyway, plus the bee scene.
Yes.
Kate was able to calm Anthony down and the almost kiss.
Oh.
Thank you. I always look forward to new episodes of yours. Can't wait to listen when you guys tackle Sanditon. All my best, Maria. Thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
I'm not sure I can handle Sanditon right now. I feel very overwhelmed.
Well, I can say that while I was trying not to watch the next episode of Bridgerton, I did start watching the first episode of Sanditon, and I was like, no, this isn't doing for me. I'm going to rewatch the show.
You have to be in the right frame of mind.
Yeah,
you can't jump.
But it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. So I am looking forward to when we turn our attention to Sanditon and do that show, because it looks very lovely. Let's see. And we had an anonymous from Tumblr. I love Kate and Edwina's names for each other. Dee and Bon. I do too. They're so sweet.
Have you looked up what they mean?
No, I have not. What do they mean? What do they mean?
So
what do they mean?
Didi in Hindi is like a respectful term for like older sister. You can sometimes use it for people that aren't your sister, but it's like affectionate. And then Bon is Bengali, I think, which is just like little sister, like sis. Like sis.
So sweet.
And so that's quite confusing actually, because I also noticed, one of my friends told me, because she speaks Tamil, that Appa is Tamil, and I was like, so we're getting like three different languages. Mm-hmm. It's confusing. And I don't think they would have known Tamil because that's from southern India. So I have question marks surrounding this. It's really cute, like when you don't know Indian languages, but then I'm wondering if some native speakers are like, what the fuck are they doing with this?
Oh gosh, if you are a native speaker, please send us in a note and help us understand.
What do you think?
What do you think? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, okay.
Episode 4.
Yes. This episode is called Victory, and the episode description reads as follows. As guests gather for the Bridgertons' ball, Anthony and Kate clash during a hunting party. Colin revisits the past.
No!
Oh, God. And Lady Featherington sets a trap.
Oh, God, no. Do you think she's just going to have Prudence just, like, flash
Is she just going to throw... Is she going to throw Prudence in a room with Jack or something like that and have them be in a compromising position?
Probably. That, I mean...
Oh, God.
To be honest...
That sounds like something Portia
She's
would do.
Desperate, right? And her daughter is useless. So that is something that you've got to consider.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I'm sort of scared that Anthony is about to do something stupid. Because Anthony is the kind of person that tries to overcompensate, like course correction. He's like, I've just nearly kissed her sister. I'm gonna propose now.
Is he gonna completely ignore Kate and go ahead and do the proposal? Oh God, I hope not.
Probably.
Not.
I think he's gonna realize he's in love with Kate and then still be like, you know what?
I can't be in a relationship with someone I love. Because love equal bad.
But my heavy sigh is because in the book, there's a moment where Anthony realizes he's attracted to Kate, so he's immediately like, okay, well, fuck, now I've got to find a new person to court, because I can't marry this girl whose sister I want to have sex with. And I'm like, that's a logical conclusion to make, and I don't think TV show Anthony is going to do that. I think he's...
Oh, dear.
He's so dumb. He's going to be like, I want to have sex with her sister.
Oh, dear.
But I'm going to propose anyway.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So, yeah. We have so much to look forward to.
Yes, we do. Oh, God. Help us all. Okay, well, guys. An hour and 44 minutes into this thing. That's all from us this time. But we'll be back next week recapping and discussing the 4th episode. Pack a lunch. Just pack a lunch. Until then, follow us on social media. We are at In the Books Network on Instagram and Twitter. We are also on Tumblr if you want to send some anonymous questions. Our Ask box is open, and we are, of course, dying to hear what you thought of episode 3.
4.
Episode 4. 4. Yes. Oh, God. Confusing. Episode 4. Please email us at inthebooks@gmail.com, and we will read you out on the inbox section. And also remember to subscribe, rate, and review, because it really helps us reach a larger audience. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.